big corporations have been around for a while, have a huge, what I call data debt. So is stuff that you've been having there for a while, and it's like a debt, literally. It's a problem you have, but you might decide that you restructure that debt. You don't pay that, you go for a nice interest balloon thing. And one day, you will be asked to repay this debt. And GDPR is one of those calling moments. The challenge is, again, in corporations like Lloyd's and like GE, where I was before, the challenge is usually not, oh, we have bad data or we have good data. Most of the challenge is around two things. One, we don't know what the data is, how good it is. And two, the different departments, different silos that over time have been built in the company are actually having different maturity levels. So when you have a strategy, you can't have a kind of a one-size-fits-all strategy, but necessarily you have to adapt to the one year, let's say, your top 99 percentile, and then you have to adapt to your last 1 percentile, because the idea is to bring everyone to the similar level of maturity. Otherwise, you will never have the opportunity to answer questions at the enterprise level with consistency. So that's the critical thing. You need to understand where different departments are, where different groups are. And I think one of the biggest problems usually is to have a sort of an amnesty and asking people, tell me how bad it is. Seriously. Because if you tell me now, we at least know and we can put in place the right, defendable position. But if you tell me 2 days before the compliance deadline, it's going to be a bit difficult. And that's culturally is tricky. So overall, what I've been doing for the last 4 years, culture, people, change are the critical challenges. So, and that's GDPR is bringing about exactly the same problems. The regulation is so vast that people are exposed sometimes to snippets. So everyone has been focusing on right to be forgotten, and then the next things happen in Facebook, and everyone is now focused about consent and ethical treatment of data. I think there are two pieces of the regulation that are very key to satisfy the rights of the data subjects. Let's not forget, this is actually a regulation that is supposed to provide people with the rights that they are entitled to from the European Charter of Fundamental Human Rights, right? This is article number 8. And as I always say, it comes before article number 9, which I believe is freedom of speech, and article number 10, which is, I believe, freedom of religion. So we are playing with very, very, big things, and they're gonna get bigger in the eyes of people. So one of the concerns that the market has got, but I don't believe we got it right yet, none of us, is portability. Because portability is giving you the rights to take your data from a provider of a service and give this data to another provider of a similar service. Hence you don't need to go through the same process of explaining and filling forms. So you're right is I spent some time in putting this thing in a structured form. I like to have this thing somewhere else in a structured form. The problem is that the market by nature doesn't talk the same language from a data point of view. We don't adhere to the same dictionary. So providing portability is going to be tricky, and there's been a dance between who should lead the dictionary, not only in banking, everywhere. But the issue is, firstly, you need to decide what is that you want to share and what you don't want to share. And you are actually right, you have the right not to share because you are entitled to your intellectual property. But there is a minimum of data that the customer has the right to have, so that their experience in switching to another provider is a good experience, as frictionless as it can be. I can say that none of us, as it is today, has got the full answer. So it's still a big team game. And I can see in most of companies the 4 musketeers of GDPR: the CDO, Chief Data Officer, the Information Security Officer, or CISO, whatever you want to call it, the person who looks after record retention, record management. I mean, then some companies have them, a librarian. And fourth, of course, the data privacy officer. These 4 people are having a kind of a intersect of relationships that put together that will give you the full answer.